Ever sat in an exam room feeling those jitters and notice those quiet, watchful figures ensuring everything goes without a hitch? Well, those are the unsung heroes, exam invigilators. Hi everyone, I'm Natalie from MyProgression, and this video is about exam invigilation. Whether you're thinking of adding this to your roster of jobs, seeking a fresh opportunity, or just trying to earn some extra cash whilst you're studying, this video is your how-to on invigilation. Now you may be thinking, I'm sure they've already made a video on exam invigilation, and you'd be right. There have been some recent updates and we want to make sure you're getting the most accurate and up-to-date information, so we made a new one. This training is in line with the JCQ Invigilator training, and we have included a link in the description to the JCQ training checklist. So when is exam season? Mark those calendars. While GCSE and A-level mock tests often happen around October and November, the real hustle starts from May and stretches till July. But remember, schools can hold mock tests at any point. So translation, opportunities abound for aspiring invigilators. What is an exam invigilator? An invigilator is like guardian of the exam galaxy. Their mission to uphold the integrity of the examination process. They're in charge, ensuring everything's fair, secure and on track. From the moment those question papers are handed out until the last answer sheet is collected, they are the vigilant keepers of examination sanctity. The role of the invigilator is to ensure that examinations are conducted in accordance with regulatory requirements, in order to ensure that all candidates have an equal opportunity to demonstrate their abilities, ensure the security of the examination papers and completed response sheets before, during and after the examination, and prevent possible candidate malpractice, and prevent possible administrative failures. So who can do it? Anyone can be an exam invigilator. All you really need is a DBS check, common sense, and an appreciation for the importance of the role that you're playing. If you already work in education, then you'll have a DBS. Make sure it's up to date and on the update service. If you're new to education, you will need to have one, and these can take a while to come through. If you work with a supply agency, they will help you do this. What's an invigilator's responsibility? It's important to remember that the students taking the exam are likely to be nervous. Remember, they're under immense pressure. Your demeanour can offer solace. A gentle smile and calm presence can significantly ease their nerves. The main role of an invigilator is to monitor the students completing the exam, ensuring they're behaving appropriately. Each school or setting may have a slightly different setup, but the role and responsibility will remain the same. Your first impression is key when arriving at the school for the first time. See our video on first impressions, and whilst you're there, like and subscribe to keep hearing more from MyProgression. Who else is involved? The exams officer is likely to be present, and they will assist with any issues that could arise. The head of centre will usually be around if needed. This will be the head teacher or the head of the setting where the exam is taking place. Make sure you know how to alert someone if you need assistance, as you want to limit the disruption to the rest of the exam room. Right, time to grab a pen and paper, as I'm going to give you a lot of information and the do's and don'ts of an invigilator. So firstly, some simple do's. Invigilators must give all their attention to conducting the examination properly. Be able to observe each candidate in the examination room at all times. Inform the head of the centre if they're suspicious about the security of examination papers, completed response sheets or any other issue that threatens the integrity of the examination process. And one very important and noteworthy don't. Invigilators must not carry out any other task, for example reading a book, in the examination room. This includes reading question papers either before, during or after the exam. Starting the examination. Many of the provisions mentioned in the next section will be provided by the setting. It's your job to check they're all there and correct. Before the examination starts, the exam invigilator must ensure the seating arrangement prevents all candidates from overlooking, intentionally or otherwise, the work of others. The minimum distance in all direction from centre to centre of candidates' chairs must be 1.25 metres. Ensure that all candidates are facing the same direction. I can't imagine a time this would be set up differently. Ensure each candidate has a separate desk or table big enough to hold question papers and answer booklet. Candidates who are not working at individual desks must be far enough apart so that their work cannot be seen by and contact cannot be made with other candidates. A board, flip chart or whiteboard should be visible to all candidates, showing the centre number, subject or unit title and paper number, and the actual starting and finishing times of each exam. Make sure a reliable digital or analogue clock is visible to each candidate in the examination room. This must not be a count-up or count-down clock, and the clock must be big enough for all candidates to read clearly, and check it's the right time. Ensure all display materials such as maps, diagrams, wall charts and projected images, which might be helpful to candidates, is not visible in the room. Advise candidates of emergency or evacuation procedures. The school will inform you of this when you arrive. Inform candidates they must follow the regulations of the exam. Never leave question papers unattended. Open the packets of examination papers in the room in front of the candidates and distribute them. Check that the candidates have the correct paper. You can check the paper number marries up with what's on the board. Ensure that you've been provided with a secure place to put the examination papers once completed. And then you must advise candidates that they should only write in black ink. They should not use correction fluid. They should not make any marks on the examination paper, such as doodles or scribbles. They will be allowed to answer the questions in the boxes provided. They must not have access to items other than those stated in the instructions on the question paper, the stationery list or the specification for that subject in the examination room. Mobile phones, electronic communication or storage devices are not permitted. This is including but not limited to digital music players, smartwatches, tablets and other products with text or digital facilities. This means that all authorised items are left outside of the examination room. Any pencil cases taken into the examination room must be see-through. If you identify any unauthorised items that have been taken into the examination room, they must be handed to you and placed out of reach of the candidates and not under the desks. And that has to be before the examination starts. This would normally be at the front of the exam room or a similar arrangement that enables the invigilator to control access to the items. Any course materials should be removed from desks and placed at the front of the room. They should not ask for and will not be given any explanation of the questions and answers. They might be nervous, so just tell them to take a deep breath and read the question again. If they leave the examination room unaccompanied by a member of centre staff, they won't be allowed to return during the examination. No exceptions. Specify the length, start and finish time of the examination and the earliest time that candidates can leave the examination room. Read the instructions on the front of the response sheet to candidates and demonstrate how to complete the response sheet and advise candidates how to make changes to answers. Remind candidates that they cannot communicate in any way with, ask for help from or give any help to another candidate whilst they're in the examination room. Announce clearly to candidates when they may begin. Be present in the exam room at all times. The invigilator must not make any comment where a candidate believes there's an error or omission on the question paper. However, in this situation, the invigilator must refer the matter to the head of the centre, who should send a report to the examining board. If the awarding body has not issued an erratum, then the invigilator must instruct them to answer the question as it's written. Give any information to candidates about possible mistakes in the question paper, unless there is an erratum notice or permission has been given by the examination board. Comment on the content of the question paper. Read a word or words printed on the question paper to a candidate other than the instructions on the front cover, and offer any advice or comment on the work of the candidate. Some general rules. The invigilator must not let any candidate enter the exam room past the allotted time set by the centre. Most centres will allow a maximum of 10 minutes for lateness. Anyone arriving after this time will have to take the exam at another time. The awarding body regulations prohibit anyone from entering an exam room within 1 hour of the start time, and this includes the invigilator. Invigilators must supervise candidates throughout the whole time that an examination is in progress. So this means that invigilators must be vigilant and remain aware of emerging situations, looking out for cheating and malpractice or candidates who may be feeling unwell. Any irregularities must be recorded. Invigilators must not carry out any other tasks in the examination room. So for example, doing other work, reading the question paper, or using a mobile phone. Invigilators are required to move around the examination room quietly at frequent intervals. So leave your tap shoes at home. Invigilators should not provide regular time checks or 15-minute warnings for the exam. This is prohibited by JCQ as it could lead to confusion if multiple exams are running at the same time. However, they do allow one 5-minute warning before the end of the exam. Ending the examination. When ending the exam, invigilators should give sufficient notice to candidates. This is usually achieved by giving a 5-minute warning prior to the published finish time of the examination. At the end of the examination, the invigilator should tell the candidates to stop working and remind them that they're still under examination conditions. Collect all examination papers and examination response sheets to place in a secure storage prior to submitting to the examination board for marking. Collect all the scripts, objective test sheets before candidates are allowed to leave the examination room. Do not allow candidates to keep the examination papers or notes made during the exam. At no point should any indication be given to the candidates as to whether it's believed they have passed or failed the examination. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, these students are going to be nervous. It's important that you aren't. Head to our resources page linked in the description for an overview of this training and test yourself with some scenarios. Once you've completed the assessment, you'll be able to download a certificate to prove your knowledge. I've been Natalie from MyProgression, and if you found this video on being an exam invigilator useful, then check out our other videos on working in education. And let's keep your career in motion.